it seems you can do anything in American football short of using a Tommy gun, so you mustn't expect me to explain the rules. The players wear so much clothing, it's a wonder they can move at all.
Barry Sanders will put you on a highlight film if you're a defensive player.
Barry Sanders in the open field, and look at Sanders make moves.
You cannot be hesitant because he'll make you miss.
You think you got him tackled? Oh.
You don't know what's going to happen when the ball snaps.
The reward is you might get him. What? The risk is you don't get him. And when you don't get him, what you get is you get Barry Sanders. And that's more than you usually want.
He made something out of absolutely nothing.
This is Any Given Wednesday, the NFL podcast where two overseas fans delve into the NFL's glorious past in an attempt to greater understand its fascinating present. So, whether you're still struggling to tell your Jim Nantz from your Kevin Burkhardt, or you're someone who, when watching the game, can still only hear the voices of Pat Summerall and John Madden in your ears, this is the podcast for you. Oof. I'm Tom Parry, and if I'm the play-by-play announcer describing what I see in front of me as best and as accurately as I can for our dear listeners, then he is the colour commentator of my dreams.
Boom!
One of the great podcast characters of all time, and yet as real as they come. What you see is what you get with this man, and what you get is an honest, learned, and excitable analysis of professional football. He's Hollywood handsome. He's cowboy tough. It's Mr. Mike Bubbins.
Oh, thank you, Tom Parry. He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, everybody listened. Thank you, mate. Very kind. Very kind.
The best John Facenda impression in the game.
I have got a good John Facenda. I think when you learn things at a young age, they stick with you. Yeah. The National Football League. The meek shall never inherit this turf. Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
I definitely think when we do get to having a Patreon, one of the services we can offer is Mike Bubbins sending you a John Facenda message of your choosing. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's definitely something that could be there. How are you, buddy?
Yes.
How's it all going at your end?
Going well. Even though we're doing a very good NFL podcast, I'd like to give a small shout out.
Oh no,
to my beloved Toronto Blue Jays, who are currently up in the World Series, and if they win the next game, they're going to be World Series champs.
And by all
the
accounts,
last time they won it, I was over there watching them. So,
oh really?
Yeah, I didn't get to the World Series, but I saw a lot of games in the seasons. Well, they're back-to-back World Series seasons. I was at a lot of those games at Sky Dome.
There's been a couple of amazing games, and there wasn't not the last one, but the one before was it like 12 inning kind of
18
epic, yeah, wow,
18 innings each. Yeah.
I had one World Series where I got into it, watching it, just because my daughter had just been born, so it was really good to get through the nights. But I still didn't quite understand it by the end of it. I was on my way. But you might have to take me by the hand.
You need a weekend at the bar. You need a weekend at the bar, mate. That's what you need.
That's it. You might have to lead me through baseball a little bit.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Look
at you in football these days.
Oh,
I remember you as a wet beyond the ears rookie. I remember you, hanging around, waiting for the names to get called. The draft came and went, and you were just an unsigned free agent. Now look at you.
Look at me.
You know what I mean?
Like week in, week out starter.
You're all pro.
This week I'm really looking forward to this. Actually, we're going to be looking at the Detroit Lions and the legendary Barry Sanders. Oh my God, what a player! But before we get to one of the all-time greats, did you watch a bit of NFL this weekend?
Do you know what I did, mate? And I am very excited because I think I was quick to judge and quick to panic. I think being a Welsh rugby fan, as soon as you see a couple of bad results or results that don't quite go your way, you think this is it. This is the shit show.
Here we go.
So the Packers, they lost that game. Then they tied a game. Both games they really should have won.
They stumbled.
And now look at them, 5-1-1, sitting pretty.
Yeah, that's right.
Believe, Tom. Believe. So I watched the Packers on the weekend.
Do you know what I think it comes down to, Bubs, as well? And I was thinking about it this morning when I was watching the Barry documentary, Barry Sanders. I was thinking about personality and how much personality kind of counts in this sport where everyone's looking for a narrative and they're making decisions on who you are as a player. I think Jordan Love is very quiet, you don't see him he doesn't look like a big leader out there. He's kind of plays within himself. And I think a lot of people judge him off that because if you go by statistics, hard stats, he's had a better start than Favre and Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. Statistically, he's absolutely doing the business. But it's just that feel. Whereas obviously you look at Brett Favre and he is like this huge persona on the field. Jordan Love just kind of sits within himself.
I love Favre, but he threw as many interceptions as he threw touchdowns.
Yeah.
Whereas when Jordan Love does make, and it's very, very few and far between that he throws a pick, everyone suddenly leaps on it and goes, "Oh, he's unreliable. He can't be trusted. He's not a leader." But like actually, statistically, he is one of he's MVP play. He's playing at MVP level.
He is. Here we dream.
Interesting, yeah, very exciting.
With a defense.
I know, with
a defense that doesn't just play well in the secondary anymore, it pressures the quarterback.
Micah Parsons. You're watching a future Hall of Famer. It feels like they'll be talking about Micah Parsons on podcasts. Well, we will be in 15 years' time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or maybe sooner. Let's be honest. Next week, let's do a Micah Parsons special.
So here's the thing I wanted to talk to you about from this weekend's football.
Go on.
And I was on holiday in the New Forest with my family in a caravan.
I saw
no bloody Wi-Fi, man. Ugh. So I couldn't follow.
Bloody family holidays.
Do you know what I did? This is a sign that this podcast has really worked its magic on me. Is at 7:00 in the morning on Monday morning, I had to walk to the entrance of the caravan park and sit outside the visitors centre on my laptop so I could watch the highlights of the Packers game.
Good lad. Worth it though, mate.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Told my wife I was going to do the laundry, stick a load in the laundrette, watch the highlights outside the visitor centre.
Good holiday?
No. Wife got a stomach bug in a caravan. So it was brutal. But
yeah. Small children, no
Small
sleep.
children. Can't really open the window.
Tiny bed.
Lots of diarrhea. Kid kept falling out of bed. No one comes back from a caravan holiday when they've got kids and goes, "Oh, I feel really rested after that."
Oh, I feel like a new man.
It's like a tour of duty is how it played out.
It's a very British, if you're North American, listen to this podcast.
Oh my God.
It's a very British thing to endure your holidays.
Yeah. To leave your house that is lovely and spacious and nice, wonderful, decent-sized beds that you can sleep in. And what you do is you take them to this kind of tin can on wheels and say, can you balance on that plank of wood throughout the night and try and sleep on it? It's like, it's insane. It's an insane
I took
holiday.
The kids when my daughter was very little, like in a cot, probably under a year, and my boy was probably 3-ish, going on 4. My wife and I went to the lovely Machynlleth, where there's a big comedy festival you and I love.
Beautiful.
I've always had a great time there.
You put me on your shoulders.
I did do, yeah. A topless Tom Parry sat astrode my shoulders.
Never happier.
Less said the better. I thought, I've always had a great time there. I said, why don't we go there for a holiday? I tell you why, because all your friends aren't there, and it's not a comedy festival.
Yeah.
All those food vans have buggered off. All your mates have left. All the pubs are shut. So we get to Machynlleth, Kelly, me, and the kids, 10 years ago, and we stayed in we glamped.
Right.
Nowhere near enough glam in glamping, is there?
No.
I mean, it's heavy on the ping and not much on the glam, I've noticed, right?
Just why you're only getting one letter.
Yeah. We had like a bell tent in a field. The field was on a big slope.
Yeah.
And it was damp.
Yeah.
Because it pissed down for the 3. Well, we booked 4 days, 3 nights. It pissed down constantly. There was like cobwebs and damp in the cone of the bell tent. My little girl slept in the cot straight away. My boy couldn't sleep and just cried.
Yeah.
I was virtually crying. There was nowhere to go. If you wanted to walk anyway, to walk quite a long way downhill and then uphill on a field. The toilet was in like a gypsy caravan, like a little wooden caravan on the site.
Yeah.
But it was a sawdust toilet.
No idea.
It was horrendous. And then on the second, so we got there the one day. The next morning, I was trying to make us a bacon using the the sort of barbecue area outside the tent, and I can remember I had my hood up, and the rain was pouring off my hood onto the bacon.
Yeah.
Right. And I just said to Kelly, "Can we just go home?
Can we just go
She
home?
went, "Yeah, come on." And we fucked off. We booked 3 nights. We stayed 1 night. So this is just not fun.
Yeah.
This isn't fun.
It's not
And it was the least British thing I've ever done in my life to quit on it.
quit on the holiday. Yeah.
So I should have stayed. I should have been miserable like everybody else does on British holiday.
Absolutely. But, well, in terms of missing the full coverage of the NFL Sunday, I wasn't actually. It was a good one for me to miss because it was my least favourite weekend of the NFL season, and I'll tell you why. This is the thing I wanted to ask you about.
Go on.
Tight end day.
Right.
So every season now, the NFL have a thing where they have today is tight end day. Like it's like
I didn't know this. Why do I not know this?
Like you'd have St. Valentine's Day or whatever it is. And so like all the coverage on Red Zone, when they're pinging between, you really notice it when you're watching Red Zone and they're pinging between games. Yeah, exactly. But it's the special day of the year. It's such a weird thing. And so whenever a tight end scores a touchdown, then they go, oh, and on tight end day as well. So when Tucker Kraft scored his first touchdown, the commentator says, it's not just tight end day, it's tight end night on Sunday Night Football. That's what the commentator said, and that's why he said it. It's because they have a special day purely for tight ends where they just talk about tight ends a lot.
See, now I know that we're what did Churchill describe us as 2 countries divided by a common language?
Yeah.
Surely tight end must mean something similar in the US than it does in the UK.
Like surely they understand that it's funny to say.
Tight end. We're just going to concentrate on tight ends all night.
I don't know. It's like America never experienced the Carry On films. Basically, is that what
I don't think they did? Do they? I can't think of a sort of an equivalent to that. I can't even say the word. That's how much I can't think of it. Equivalent of Carry On for our US friends.
I guess it'd be American Pie.
We had a lot. We had like Confessions of a Window Cleaner, the Carry On film.
Yeah, so maybe they don't embrace innuendo. Maybe they just don't enjoy innuendo as much as we do, basically.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Maybe they don't get it. Maybe they don't snigger at tight ends and wide receivers.
But they do it quite bow-faced, this kind of tight end day, and it's like a celebration of all the tight ends in the game.
Well, fanny packs. You know, the list is endless. They call the Packers the cheeseheads. I love the Packers. Cheeseheads.
Our American listeners are thinking there's nothing wrong with any of these.
Yeah. If I told I was having a lot of cheeseheads and tight ends, I mean, don't come in. Do not come in.
So has tight end day passed you by?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't aware because I don't watch Red Zone. I was unaware. I saw that Tucker was on there quite a bit on the coverage.
Yeah, that's why.
Great game.
Yeah, he was having a great game, wasn't he?
He's hard to defend that boy, isn't he? He's a proper tight end.
Well, when you get a tight end that
his yaks are pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you get a tight end that can start to do the offensive thing as much as the defensive thing, you realise just how effective a position it is. And when you get one and you land it big, it makes me wonder why. Like, it's very rare you see tight ends go high in the drafts. Like, it's very rare you'll see first round picks go to tight ends. And yet, nowadays, they are absolute game changers.
Well, completely. I mean, but the positions changed so much. It was, it's certainly changed in the last 20 years. And looking at players who maybe at high school level, less so in college as things get more specialised, but they might not even have been particularly standout at football in high school. But a lot of rebounding basketball players who can get up there and win 50-50 balls, under the basket.
Yeah.
That sort of big, athletic, good in the air, good at the 50-50 ball. Because, I mean, that's a good point, actually, mate. You don't see tight ends go, you don't see like number 1 pick going to tight ends.
I think in the last couple of years, I can remember maybe one tight end going in the first round where it's like, I can't even remember who it was now, but it's like they are such game changers that I find it quite interesting that isn't the case, Well,
it used to be quite a blocking position, didn't it? And then, but you were sort of like an outlet pass over the middle, but that became those sort of 10, 15-yard routes over the middle, the crossing patterns and stuff, they became a big part of football. You can't imagine the Patriots without Gronkowski, can you? You can't imagine.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Gronkowski's the first. When you think of Brady, you think of Gronkowski. Like, you think of who's...
completely.
If you imagine a Brady
or Kelsey and Mahomes, the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So, it feels like... the NFL have given... I was going to say they need more respect thrown on their name, but the NFL have given them a day, so there you go. They've given them their own day. It just feels so strange to me. Could you imagine watching Premier League footage and them going, oh, well, today is Right Back Sunday, where we celebrate right backs? You'd be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on here?
It's just very deeply weird. Or like Scrum Half Sunday.
Holding midfielder Thursday.
It's just a really odd decision for the NFL to do, and everyone seems to embrace it.
Is it the NFL thing though? Is it like when they do the sort of, they have the breast cancer stuff, they have the bullying stuff, they have all sorts of initiatives during the season?
Yeah, salute to service. They have different themes, don't they? Every week. The other thing I was going to
just look at this, mate. If you just quickly put a Google search in for famous NFL tight ends.
Yeah,
Rob Gronkowski, obviously, Tony Gonzalez, Mike Ditka. People forget that Mike Ditka was a fantastic player.
Yeah,
as well as being the Bears, Super Bowl winning coach and synonymous with Chicago. Ozzie Newsome, that's a blast from the past. What a player he was. Greg Olson does a lot of the comms. I love Greg Olson on comms. He's great on comms.
He's really good, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot of good ones around, mate. Obviously Kelsey and our man Tucker on there as well. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a real all-rounder position. I mean, you've got to block. You've got to be able to catch that pass. You got to be able to put the yards after the catch.
Yeah, yeah.
Tucker Kraft does that so well. Like after he's made a catch, he's off.
He's a really impressive guy. It's very exciting. Very exciting time to be.
Well, the things with a tight end, if you've got a tight end, of say your average tight end is probably 6'5"
Yeah,
and what in pounds probably 260. Maybe more. Then they're the sort of blokes. Once you get past the line, if you catch a pass behind the linebackers, if you're on the secondary, you've then got a massive man against cornerbacks and safety.
Who's got a head of steam coming at you?
Yeah,
like that's the thing is you see, and when you think about like Kelsey and Gronkowski and Kraft, for me now, it's like that's what you get is this sense of them rumbling with two or three.
The average cornerback was no part of that.
No, yeah, that's it. Just rumbling through players.
Anything else stand out for on this weekend?
Yeah, so the other thing is that the Packers and the Steelers played, and the Steelers had, I would say one of the more extreme throwback uniforms on.
I'm going to say, well, this is weird, right? When I first saw it, my sister, who lives in Pittsburgh and is a Pittsburgh fan, married a Pittsburgh boy. He's a big Pittsburgh fan. My nephew's a big Pittsburgh fan. I've been to Pittsburgh to see them, and I've been to see the Steelers play, right?
Yeah.
And I love some of their jerseys. They are that one throwback, which is the rugby jersey, basically.
Yeah.
Horizontal stripes, which a lot of fans didn't like. I love that one.
Yeah.
This thing they wore on Sunday, my sister sent me a message just going, what the hell are the Steelers wearing, right? And then at first I hated it, and I mean hated it, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized it wasn't really the uniform I hated. I hated those pants that looked like a pair of tights.
Yeah.
I hated those plain yellow socks.
Yeah.
But the more I saw that jersey, the more I liked it.
It's grown on you.
Definitely the jersey has. It's got a little bit of rugby about it.
Well, I think that's what I thought about it, it'd be a decent jersey to own and wear with a pair of jeans. Yeah. But not on the field.
Flesh-coloured pants.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And what basically, and then so with that happening last week, and then this week, the Packers are wearing a throwback jersey, but not only a throwback jersey, they've had their helmets redesigned to look like replicas of the leather helmets.
Oh, I love that helmet
that the original Packers wore. So ostensibly, they're going to be playing in fancy dress when they go up against the Panthers, and it's like Halloween as well. It looks like they're going to be in fancy dress to play with, and again, it's just. Yeah.
It should be. If you go look at a modern Halloween, they should be dressed as sexy Packers. It should be like that. What's the lingerie football league? What's it now called? The Legends Football League?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Women who play like in stockings and suspenders. They should do that for a week, shouldn't they, for Halloween?
No, okay. Is this our third worst idea? Is this worse than magnetic helmets?
Well, the NFL exists.
Every Halloween, the NFL plays in something sexy.
I saw the LFL. It was like a half-time thing at first.
Yeah.
And I thought, have we somehow, this is what, because they haven't got Carry On, have we somehow gone back 50 years, not realised, right?
Yeah.
Because there appear to be women playing football in bras and knickers purely for the entertainment of pissed men, right?
And then just to be certain, you had to watch all of it, didn't you?
I watched it all, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, so I watched it again, just on the safe side. And I subscribed to the newsletter.
I subscribed. Just to work it out, I subscribed and then...
And I've been going to see live games ever since. I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
It's pretty reductive stuff.
And weirdly, some of the football involved in that is really good football. Some of those girls can play.
Well, I imagine a lot of them have gone on to...
wear a uniform.
The tag football's going to be it's going to be an Olympic sport, isn't it? At the next Olympics.
Yeah.
So, and there was an interesting conversation about will NFL players be able to play, and I think they're going to be allowed to try out for the teams. So
very different skills,
very different skill set, and there's going to be. Are they mixed teams or are they?
They are
female games. So so it is going to be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if it takes off because it is a very kind of accessible route into, or like alongside American football. So it will be interesting to follow.
Yeah.
That
So Phoebe Schechter
happens.
does a lot of the UK coverage. Is in the UK team, isn't she? She's in the UK side.
I'd love to get her on this podcast and interview her about that.
Oh, she's great. She knows the game inside out as well.
There you go.
She's really good.
Have you got an in there? Can you text her?
I haven't, no, but I can. I know people who have.
That's
so,
okay.
Oh, Phoebe, if you're listening to this, or if you're listening to this, get in touch. We'd love to have you on as a guest. Going back to that Packers throwback jersey.
Yeah,
I do love the one with the fake leather look.
The fake leather helmets.
But it's going to look if someone's then wearing a Guardian thing over the top of that, it's going to look ridiculous.
It was announced today. Romeo Dobbs is he's got a throwback Guardian helmet.
Not.
Yes. They put it out on Instagram today. So it's odd. It's a bit odd. That's all. It's kind of like it's becoming closer and closer.
Well, they played in basically blue and gold. For the first part of their careers, I'm sure you know. That's why I got a throwback jersey that I never wear it because people don't know you're a Packers fan.
Yeah,
it's just
got
navy blue and gold.
Yeah, I've got a blue and gold one as well.
You're a Rams fan, no? But I think that's one of the Lombardi things that he changed when he came to the club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, "Well, we're the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we're playing green."
It's not rocket science, is it? Awesome. Well, so that's worth looking out for this weekend. The full throwback jerseys, and listeners, if you've got any preferred or hated throwback uniforms, then let us know. Is that as your franchise got a terrible throwback uniform, or is it one that you'd immediately buy? Get in touch.
The NFL getting things right. That I love the throwback jerseys. I love that. It used to be like a week now. So I think some teams really like it and they stick with it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that in another sport. I'd love I'm a big rugby fan. I'd love to see like a throwback week or a throwback round.
Yeah.
And the same with the Colour Rush. I think they're always great fun to look at as well. And it just makes sense if you're trying to sell kits as well,
I mean, it's a problem for me because I like buying shirts so much that you kind of think, am I going to have another one? Am I? Yeah. It's dangerous territory. But yeah, get in touch. Let us know about your throwback love or hates. As always, we'd love for you to get in touch. Any Given Wednesday pod on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the likes. And
I would love to hear from a fan.
Yeah, go on.
Of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the New England Patriots that doesn't love those two throwback kits.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they exist.
I think that's when it's tough. It's tough when your throwback is so much better than your actual kit. And then you have to go back to your slightly boring kit the next week. That's when it must be really tough, I think. Right, should we crack into? We've got an email and a speak pipe. Shall I read the email out for you?
Yes, please.
George P's been in touch. George P writes, all right, chaps, enjoying the pod. As someone that started following NFL about 8 years ago when my wife was out of the house for a lot on Sundays on the bounce and I was disillusioned with association football, which I still am most of the time, it's refreshing to have a show that helps me catch up with the history of this game in a light-hearted way. Anyway, here's a long-winded setup for a pod episode suggestion. Yeah, light-hearted.
What?
Serious outfit, mate.
Just hard hitting.
After a few weeks of watching games with my friend Bonesy on text, guiding me through what the fuck was going on, good old Bonesy, I decided to pick a team. I did a Sky Sports questionnaire and it pumped out the Panthers. Oof, quoting that among the reasons fans are more likely to enjoy cheese and wine, which I guess I do. Before fully committing, I went to do some research, and the first fact I found was that they played in Charlotte, the name of my wife. Not bad at all. Team picked. I then found out that they were in the Super Bowl the year before, had the most powerful QB of the time, had the best linebacker in the game, played in electric blue. I was quids in. Alas, time has not proven that excitement justified. For me, Cam or Luke. So it'd be great to get your take. It'd be great to get your take on that season when the Panthers went 15-1, navigated the playoffs, had the MVP, and fell at the last hurdle. How did it come about? Was it a surprise to other fans? Was Cam really that good? Did he change the QB position? Did the Broncos deserve to win the Super Bowl? Will the Panthers ever get back to the promised land? Whoa, loads of questions for us. As I said, top pod, keep it up. Cheers. George, P.S. My Panthers highlight, I saw them beat the Bucks at Shite Hart Lane alongside Bonesy, my bro, and mate Ollie.
His was not yours, by the way.
We were in the, that's what I was going to say. He must be an Arsenal fan. We were in the front row by the end zone, and as the only fan in full-on Panthers gear in that corner, I got popped the ball after a touchdown. And Bonesy grabbed it before I could in a moment of hilarity for himself. It now sits proudly on my office shelf.
Lovely. Game ball. Sweet as.
That's great.
Especially when your team score. That's even better, isn't it?
I know. It's amazing.
To be at one of the London games and get one of your, because obviously all the teams get represented there by the fans, but that's amazing.
Cheers, George. Love that.
Well, we should do it. Yeah, let's do that for our Carolina episode.
Absolutely. That's
a great show. Because that was a great season with some fantastic players, and they fell at the last hurdle. And that happens in the NFL all the time.
I seem to remember. I mean, we'll have to go into it in detail. I seem to remember Cam Newton because he was playing with kind of like this incredible, almost like this force field around him. So much swagger, so much kind of. He seemed unplayable, and then he kind of fumbled in the Super Bowl and. You could just see like a chink in his confidence, and the Broncos weren't very inspiring. I don't think it was like a big defensive kind of effort that shut down the Panthers. But we'll look at it because you forget they went 15-1, like they almost went unbeaten. You forget that. Few teams do that. Yeah.
All the time.
Well, yeah.
I love it when teams are getting towards that perfect season and they wheel out the Dolphins side always.
Yeah.
The surviving members of that Dolphins team.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes increasingly a seemingly.
You wouldn't think, would you, in such a short season, and it was a 14-game season for most of the 70s. It was a 14-game season with 2 playoff games in a Super Bowl, so there was 17-game season. And that was the only team that did it.
The only team to ever do it, yeah.
Over 50 years.
I know. It's crazy.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Shows you just what a hard game it is to win and how hard fought all those games are. And
say this for Cam Newton. He always dapper in a press conference.
Oh, he dresses well. He's so cool. He's a cool bloke. He really is. Cool. Yeah. Well, keep your emails coming in. Thanks for that, George. And let's have a speak pipe if we can. Producer Reese.
Hi, Mike and Tom. Alex here. Big fan of the show, and I'm really glad you brought it back this season. I don't need you to pick an NFL team for me because I have already got one. The Cincinnati Bengals. I'd like to say that there was a cool and deep, meaningful reason for selecting them, but it was just that I thought their jerseys were the coolest when I started getting involved and watching the NFL. So my questions for you today are, well, I've got two actually. Firstly, on Joe Burrow, obviously he's out injured at the moment. I was wondering whether you thought he had and has the potential to be this generation's Dan Marino, as in a very talented quarterback who gets to a Super Bowl early in his career but doesn't win, and then is never in a team which has the pieces needed to succeed and to win again. And then secondly, given the amount of injuries he's already had in his still relatively young career, which players do you think have been most affected by injuries in their career in terms of lost talents, players who maybe had to retire early or didn't achieve the peaks they could have done if they'd stayed injury free? I look forward to hearing your answers. Thank you.
We got some good listeners, haven't we?
I know, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, proper questions and proper speak pipes and proper emails.
Yeah.
This is the evolution of the UK NFL fan. Thanks, Alex. Two good questions there. Yeah, so Burrow's 28, isn't he? So good looking boy.
He's class.
He is class, but let me caveat that by saying,
okay,
Dan Marino. I mean, I wasn't sure where that was going. First of all, I think Dan Marino may be he's certainly top 3 quarterbacks of all time for me.
Of all time.
So I wouldn't put Joe Burrow in that bracket, talent-wise, as good as he is. And he's 28, so he's probably the peak of his career. I get what he means about getting a lot of success early in life, and maybe that won't be repeated, right? I get that completely.
What I would be surprised at is if he stays a Cincinnati Bengal for the rest of his career. And so I do think that whereas Dan Marino, was a Dolphin and was at that kind of, a franchise that you'd expect to win Super Bowls, and you kind of understand why he stayed there. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a second team.
You do?
I do, yeah.
I think it's easier these days for good players to move teams. Obviously, players that were, and don't get me wrong, everyone in the NFL is a good player, but I mean, marquee players can move teams these days, and that didn't, like we talked about, Micah earlier, right? That wouldn't have happened in the old days, I don't think, because the way the contracts were set up, and it was a lot less mobility and free agency and those sorts of things. So yeah, you might be right. Burrow might go somewhere else. I don't see the Bengals getting back to the big show anytime soon.
Well,
you never know, though, mate.
No, and also they've got, like when you look at their wide receiver class, they've got 2 of the best wide receivers in the sport. So it is kind of the offense is there for them.
Defense wins championships. The old adage.
Yeah, and that is.
But you know what?
It's kind of like
in the NFL, suddenly you draft 2 players who turn a defense around, and you're a completely different team. And that's the joy of the NFL. Joy of the NFL is you can be an also-ran, and then you can be in the Super Bowl the next year. The heartbreak is you can be in a Super Bowl and be 2-15 2 years later, right?
Yeah.
So that side of it, I think I can see the comparison with Marino for maybe not fulfilling potential through no fault of his own. Definitely that was the case. Marino, it's not Joe Burrow's fault when they don't do well. I don't think.
I think the worry with Burrow as well is he does seem to be injury prone, whereas Marino played a lot of uninterrupted football. And it was only later on.
But also Marino, mate, especially towards the last several years of his career, his bottom half was just held together by string. I mean, it was mad. He had double knee braces and
taped up, wasn't he?
Massive flak jackets on. I mean, he got some serious punishment in that division. I mean, he was playing Mark Gastineau twice a year. He was. He got a lot, but he was a big bloke, Marino. 6'5", built, Pennsylvania boy. So yeah, he's had a problem with injuries. Good question about injuries and careers. The one that springs to mind is before my time, but I've read a lot about him, was a fellow called Gale Sayers, who played for the Bears.
That's what I was going to say. We covered him in the Dick Butkus episode, didn't we?
Because you look at what film you can watch of him playing and look at his stats and listen to contemporary accounts of the way he played the game. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
But, I think I don't think after his third season he was ever injury-free. Blew a knee out, got a bad operation on it. So I don't think he ever saw the best of Gale Sayers. I'm trying to think of other players that have... I remember big injuries. I was a Redskins fan in the 80s. I remember that Theismann break, the LT, when he broke his leg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Theismann was an established veteran pro boy then, who'd had a great career. So young players with big injuries. I think the biggest problem with young players these days is the mental aspect of it. I think it's a thing that was never sort of appreciated in the past, is the mental health of some of the players, because you think of what they go through. Well, we'll talk about, I'm sure that we talked about in a future pod, we'll discuss Johnny Manziel, and you think of the burnout that some of those young players get. There's plenty of players don't reach their potential for that reason.
Well, it's an impatient game, isn't it? And because the seasons are so short, an injury is very easily a season-ending injury, like the nature of the injuries. And then suddenly you've lost a season, and then there's people knocking on the door, or someone's been called up, and time doesn't wait around in this sport.
Association football, you got an injury in August for 3 months with an ACL, right? November, you're back in contention. You've got November, December, January, February, March, April, May left.
Yeah.
You blow a knee out in the NFL in February, in September. You're going to be out until the end of November. Well, that's the end of the season.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
They're not going to bring you back for the last 4 games of the season and start you straight away. So, yeah, it is I think the average career has gone down. It used to be 4 years in the NFL. I think the average career is now 3 years. And part of that is there's this constant supply of amazing talent coming through. And a lot of that is money, because you can pay rookies less and you let other people go. And there's that massive turnover of personnel. The other side of it is injuries. Gale Sayers is the one that springs to mind.
Yeah, I was going to say Gale Sayers as well.
I'm just trying to think of other big players with big injuries. Concussions is the thing, isn't it? Concussions and...
Well, who was the QB for the Patriots who nearly died the night? Yeah, Bledsoe. That's what I was going to go. Because Bledsoe never really got back to... Well, he certainly didn't get back to the Patriots, but did he go on to play for anyone else, or was he...
I don't know, mate.
Because he nearly died, didn't he? He had a punctured lung.
I had to watch the youngster take his position for a bit. Unfortunately, the youngster Tom Brady.
Because he was firmly ensconced in the Patriots, and he was, he wasn't really going anywhere, and it was only because of that injury.
John Mikowski had a big injury. The Packers quarterback, the Magic Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a. We'll talk in a second about Barry Sanders, but I think the way he played the game in that one-back offense to remain injury-free for 10 years was a big thing,
Yeah.
It's a punishment sport. Gale Sayers is the one that springs to mind. I can't think of anyone that was... No. Physical injuries, that's the one that springs to mind for me.
Okay, Bledsoe went on to play he played for the Bills and the Cowboys for a couple of seasons before Tony Romo came in.
Did he start?
For the Cowboys? Yeah, I think so. He played for a bit.
Okay. A player.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Great question. Thanks for that. And keep the speak pipes coming in. It's good to be talking about Gale Sayers because it leads us on to this week's topic, really, of this is one running back that even though he did, I mean, like he fulfilled his potential to a certain degree, did have kind of the way he left the game was also a big part of that story. As you know, each week we choose a different team from the NFL. This week we've chose the Detroit Lions and Barry Sanders, one of, if not the greatest running back to ever play the game, who played for one of, if not the least successful franchises ever. It's, you know, it's kind of an incredible kind of pairing, really. Because I mean, like, I don't know, I watched the there's a great documentary on Amazon Prime called Bye Bye Barry. It's like it's an NFL film. It's a really good watch. It's good, like 90 minutes. It's a full effort.
There's also the NFL films Football Life.
Oh, great.
And there's a really good 45-minute documentary as well.
I mean, he, first and foremost, we'll get on to him as a player, but I think these two things go hand in hand. He comes across as one of the, just such a good man, like such an exceptional, like this kind of modest, kind of almost workman-like the way he goes about his job. He sees it as a job. He doesn't see himself as anything special. And yet he is one of the very best to ever play the game. It's an incredible kind of combination, those two things.
I mean, I knew the part of that we see on the TV over here. So I knew that when he scored, he would just sort of toss the referee the football. There was no sort of big celebration. Just get on with it, which I think is such a classy way of doing it. Like one of the commentators says, you know, this is act like you've been there before. It's such a thing, you know. Yeah, that's me. I'm Barry Sanders. I scored touchdowns.
From his very first touchdown in the NFL, like he's a rookie, and I think it's on his first drive, and he like comes on and he immediately picks up 19 yards, and then at the end of the drive he scores a touchdown, and it's your first ever NFL touchdown, and it's not like he planned it. He just tosses the ball to the ref, turns around and walks back. It's just like,
I think he'd always done it. I think, but what I didn't know was things like, you go back to his high school career, and he could have broken all sorts of records and won the city rushing title and stuff. And the coach said, "Listen, do you want to keep in the game, or we won the game, or we can give some of the youngsters a run. But you won't get the rushing record." He said, "Give the youngsters a run. I don't care about the records."
Yeah,
you know, that's such an unusual thing, especially in the NFL. It's such a. I love the NFL, obviously, but it's an ego league.
Yeah,
right. He's got no ego.
Do you know what I liked about hearing that? Do you know when that was echoed was last season in Saquon Barkley did that when he was at the Eagles, and he had a chance of.
That's right.
He had a chance of breaking the most in a game or something, rushing yards in a game, or he was very close to something, and he said, "Stick the youngsters in."
Yeah,
and it's like there was a real echo of that, and I thought, I wonder if. I wouldn't be surprised if Saquon Barkley looks at Barry Sanders as like that's my hero, that's the one that I want to be like, because
as well, mate. Well, that will not fall on deaf ears. That, do you know what I mean? Not just for those youngsters you're giving the game to, or the rookie you're giving some snaps to. The rest of your team know that you're in this for the team.
Yeah.
It cuts so much ice in a squad. It must do with the squad of players and with the team of coaches. I love that bit. There's that bit in high school where, so the original high school coach wanted to play him at, I think, defensive back because he thought he wasn't physical enough, and then his old man goes up the score and kick. We'll get to his old man in a second, I'm sure, right? And then they finally play him at running back. Yes, they bring the new high school coach who's in this quite a bit, and they play Barry at running back. The way he runs the ball, his balance.
Yeah.
I tell you what. And I've coached quite a bit of rugby, played quite a bit of rugby. You always talk about body angle, right? And they talk in football about pad height, which is the same concept, right?
Yeah.
You watch the number of times you think Barry Sanders has been tackled because he runs into 2 or 3 defenders, right?
Yeah.
But he's so explosive. He's got such great balance. He literally will bounce off it and go back the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't think
extraordinary.
I've never seen a player as good as that bounce off as Barry Sanders.
Yeah. He's like you know those weebles that wobble but they don't fall down. It's like he just gets hit and he just pings back, and it's just like you just can't bring him down. And like the way his his kind of lateral movement, how quickly he can just be across the pitch. And you see these defenders tackling air. It's like they feel like they've got him. And it's like, oh, suddenly he's just like 6 yards the other side of you. And then he's downfield. It's electric to see.
They play him as a punt returner originally, like a kick returner, and he's lights out because they got Thurman Thomas there, right?
Yeah.
Who went on to have a great NFL career. So his dad doesn't want to go there because he wants him to get more, he wants him to play for his favorite university. But he sort of, in a rare moment, I get the impression there's a rare moment of not doing what his dad wants him to do.
Yeah, I think
he goes there instead, and just is. When he gets his chance, but he's quite happy to bide his time. Like so many young pros, when you talk about their college careers, right? When they come in there as a rookie or as a sophomore or whatever, they want to play, right? And if they don't play, they want to change universities, right?
Yeah.
He's quite happy to, I'll run kickbacks. I'll run punts back. Yeah. And then when I get a chance, I'll be amazing at running back. And people, when you hear the college commentators saying, they couldn't believe what they were seeing at first. They were saying, you'll be able to say in 30 or 40 years, I saw Barry Sanders play football.
Yeah.
He might be the best who's ever played the game.
Yeah, from a running back point of view, it's just like he's unplayable. It's like watching a pinball kind of ball. Like it's just like he hits these guys and like he's in a pile with 2 or 3 guys, and then suddenly he's just out the other side. He's gone and he's missed this way and that way. And it's just...
that sort of powered sweep, which the Packers perfected, works. Because without a hole, to set the edge and get outside that defense and go is very difficult, right? So
yeah,
you're really looking for running backs who can. They'll run the play that's been set, but they can always cut back against it, right? And I don't think I've ever seen anyone better at a broken play than Barry Sanders. You know, we got a running play going off left tackle. Okay, that's been stuffed up. Bounce. Run around the other way, 80-yard touchdown. Right? It's just,
yeah.
He must have been a bloody. Look at the size. He's the perfect shape for a running back too. For me, he's the perfect shape. 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, 5'11",
probably 220. Yeah. All tons of power in his arse and his legs,
and just speed. Balance. Just so much balance.
The balance is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
the balance is the thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the rules of football, you can put a hand down the floor. That's fine. Right? Feet and hands on the floor, you're in the game still, right? Anything else touches the floor, you're down. His balance was incredible. And when you look at the cuts, as they would call it, those changes of direction, there was no discernible weak foot. You know, they say some running backs want to cut off their right, some want to cut off their left. Barry didn't care. And he was saying he would just read defenses. You could see it.
Yeah.
You always played, and it sounds like an obvious thing to say, all the best players. He's got his eyes open. You watch him when you see a close-up on him from in front, and he's scanning. And he sees daylight, and he's gone, right?
Yeah.
There's that beautiful thing, Emmett Smith talking about it, where one of the Cowboys defenders, and Emmett's laughing, saying he's just looking around thinking, where'd he go? Where's he gone?
Yeah, that's it.
I love that bit with Emmitt Smith, by the way. I thought that was real. There's real mutual respect there. Because obviously Emmitt Smith broke the career record, and Emmitt knows the score.
Yeah, he does.
But Emmitt's dead right. He says, "Listen, look, you know, the bottom line is I've got the record. Anything could have happened to Barry, and it could have happened.
Yeah, that's right.
But look what he did in 10 years is incredible. I looked at his college, that one college year they talk about, Tom, right? So in 1988, a junior, right?
Yeah.
I should paint a picture of people, new fans, right? If you, like 100 yards a game is the gold standard for a running back. Get 100 yards, you've had a really good game, right? If you could score a touchdown a game average, you're like elite level, right?
Yeah.
1988, widely considered the greatest individual season by a running back in college football history. He rushed for 2,628 yards and scored 37 touchdowns in 11 games. So he's averaging nearly 250 yards a game and averaging nearly 4 touchdowns a game.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
You're like, what?
And he wins the Heisman Trophy, which is, I don't know if we chatted about it much before on the podcast, but it's kind of one of the most kind of sought after trophies in all of American sport. It's voted on. It's kind of the Ballon d'Or for college football. And it's voted on. And he's up against Troy Aikman for it. And he looks so he wins the Heisman and he looks so kind of not disappointed. It just doesn't mean anything to him, like any of these awards. And they just don't mean anything to him. So like he's won the Heisman and his family are going crazy and his dad, who's kind of this huge personality, he's embarrassed to do it. Yeah. And later on when he plays for Detroit, he obviously wins MVP at like the Lions MVP award every year that he's there. And his teammate says he leaves the award on the bus. He leaves it around his mate's house. He never takes his award home. Like he leaves it at the ground and everyone says, "Oh, Barry, you forgot your award." And he's like, "Oh no, just leave it there." It's like it just doesn't mean anything to him. It's just like,
by the way, I overheighted him by mistake. I just looked on just to check because I thought, is he 5'11"? He's 5'8".
5'8".
5'8", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
But then you look at this, like his career stats, right? He played 10 years. 10 years for a bad team is because he was there. They turned into a good team. You know, they did get to the playoffs. They only won the one playoff game though. So his regular season stats. So in 10 years, he rushed for 15,269 yards, right? So he's averaging 1,500 yards a season, average. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. 4 is the gold standard, right?
Yeah.
99 rushing touchdowns.
And in fact, when you look at the all-time list, like Emmitt Smith's average is 4.2. Walter Payton we're talking about was 4.4. And Frank Gore, the 3 guys who are above him don't have that average. Frank Gore, 4.3. No. Barry Sanders is the best in terms of yards per carry. Apart from Jim Brown. Jim Brown's.
I was going to say, so 5.2 yards a carry, Jim Brown.
Yeah. I was
going to. Oh, that's not. Hey, Jim Brown was. Oh God. Well, almost the opposite, really. You looked at Cannonball Jim Brown. We need to do this in a future episode, by the way, because the shape on Jim Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an absolute specimen of a man. Fantastic physique on him. Big, powerful. He would run right through you, right? And Barry was like the opposite sort of a running back, really. But it's funny with this old man. So he's a colourful character. He plays quite a prominent part in this doc.
Well, his old man is the personality that, like, it's almost like, you know, Barry never wants to do interviews. He never wants to do presses. He never wants to. But his dad is the exact opposite of that. So his dad does almost all of that side of it for him, for his son, and is like kind of the showman. He's very proud. What's that?
I never knew how to take his dad.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen stuff. Like, I don't know whether his dad's. But then towards the end of the one doc I watched, I actually thought, Barry speaks very highly of his dad. But I always thought his dad was jealous of it, probably. He talked quite a bit about his career. And I think.
Well, his quote that he kept on, it's almost like the joke that he loved to keep telling. And he even tells it when Barry Sanders is inducted into the Hall of Fame. His father does the speech to bring him on. Mm. And he says, so I'd like to say, a few words about the greatest running back of all time. It's Jim Brown, who can't be here today, but, and then he says the second best of all time was me when I used to play in my high school days. Yeah. And then the third best is my son. And that's how he brings his son out. And even when Barry breaks the 2000, does he break 2,000 yards?
Season, yeah.
2,000 yards in a season, and only 2 players have done it before. And even then, like immediately afterwards, his dad's like, well, obviously Jim Brown's the best. But Barry says that's what kept him humble. It kept him who he was. And it stopped it all going to his head. And actually, you think,
I'm not sure how much of that might have been a bit of an act with his dad.
Yeah.
Who sees that if you believe the hype, there's plenty of players I can think of who went off the rails massively.
Oh, God.
Never achieved their potential, and everyone blew smoke out of their ass and told them they were the best thing ever, right? Maybe part of that was his dad's psychology thinking, if I keep Barry's feet on the ground. Because I think there was a genuine, like he said, when he had the utmost respect for Barry when he retired, weirdly. Like he said, after that 10th season, when he decided that he'd had enough of football, his old man was really, really proud of him. So
I find that very emotional.
If his old man had been the sort of dad who was just living off his son, which plenty of dads do, he would have wanted him to keep playing football. And he didn't want that. He was really proud of him for doing what he did and bowing out at the top of his game.
And what he did is incredible, because that and it is this recurring thing in his career. Like you said, there's the moment when he's playing for his school and he's up for the rushing yards in the county or whatever, and he kind of takes himself out of the game. That happens in his first season at the Lions. He could have won the rushing. He could have won best rusher for the season, and he takes himself out of the game. And he literally needs, I think it's something like another 9 yards, and he takes himself out of the game because he doesn't want it. And then, at the end of his career, he is about just under 1,500, just under 1,500 yards short of Walter Payton for the all-time rushing yards. And so you're probably looking at another season and a half, maybe.
We have him.
Yeah. So another season for him, and he would have become the greatest rusher of all time.
But even that single season record, right? So, he broke the 2,000 yards in the last game of the season. Those first 2 games when they try to run a 2-back offense and bring in a fullback, and it just wasn't his game at all. To be fair to his dad said, this isn't Barry's game. We need 4 receivers, spread the field, give Barry some space. And he was dead right. Because when they go back into that in week 3, they go back to the single back offense. He then gets 2,000 yards. Those first 2 games, he ran for 53 yards combined.
Yeah, so he was down 2 games already. It's incredible. It's incredible, but he could have, and you see people do it. You see people like Drew Brees play on for a couple of seasons to try and break the kind of yards thrown record and things like that. But that wasn't Barry Sanders at all, and he quit. He could have still played for a good 3 or 4 years easily. He was 31, but he was fit, and he, like you said, he just put in this incredible season, and he retired.
I compared that to, we talked about LT and the Giants, and him saying basically he retired when Bill Parcells left, but took him like 3 years to leave.
Yeah,
didn't want to get hit anymore. Didn't want to hit anymore. Didn't want to be hit. So talking to people, so a mate of mine, Sam Warburton, is a British Lions rugby captain, Wales rugby captain. Great player, right? It's lovely that it's turned out that I'm now friends with the bloke that I really, really looked up to, right? But anyway.
Yeah, amazing.
I chatted with him about his game because I remember him saying, I could have played another few seasons. I didn't want to play against somebody when I wasn't at my best and them say, yeah, that Sam Warburton's not all he's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Right? He says, so I wanted to leave the top of my game. And it's so hard to do that, isn't it? Because it must be so hard to turn you back on what you love.
Yeah.
But when the best players do that, and then they don't make a comeback, you all everyone sort of thought Barry Sanders have a year out, then think, oh, okay, I'll come back. Didn't happen, right? And when players do that, I remember talking, and this is a weird sports hour. They're all sort of sports people are sports people. I interviewed a fella years ago called Ray Reardon, who was a 6-time world snooker champion, right? Yeah. Lovely fella. And he was in his 90s at the time. And I remember saying to him, when did you last have a century break, which is a big deal in snooker? He's like, about 3 months ago. I said, really? I said, why did you stop playing? He said, I was playing a game. He said, I knew the shot I needed to play. I knew how to play it. I knew where to leave the cue ball. I didn't have the physical ability, my eyesight and everything else. He said, I just missed it. And I thought to myself, if I can't play to the top of my ability, I don't want to play.
No, because it must be so frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're Barry Sanders, but then the flip side of that is, which is ridiculous, right? And I'm not knocking the good people of Detroit. Can you imagine what that bloke did for the city? Right?
Oh, yeah, and they turned on him, didn't they?
The people who then turned on him. And if he'd have gone to the Bears or the Packers or the Vikings, right, a divisional rival, I get it. He just retired. I just thought I've had enough of football.
He went to London. Just went to London for 2 weeks and have a little holiday, walk around. He expressed it really well in his. He resigned. I think one of the other things that was difficult for the Detroit fans is he did it by fax, and it was a very Barry Sanders way to do it.
Exactly.
A letter just arrived by fax, which is quite weird because it was 1999. Why hasn't anyone put him on?
Get it?
He could have been on Gmail. I mean, why? It's not like
AOL. Yeah, that's free CD through.
But he phrased it. His pager went, and no. So he said, his desire to be out of the game is greater than his desire to be in it, and it's just a very simple, eloquent way to say, and that's that. And again, Detroit, they got to one game away from the Super Bowl in 1991, but as is often a story that we come back to, that he did not have the team around him, whereas Emmitt Smith had the team around him. And you look at what Emmitt Smith went on to do. In
that Dallas game, the only time they won a playoff match with Barry there, he was incredible in that game.
He was incredible. And he deserved to have a team around him, and he didn't. And, again, it comes down to the organisations and what's happening around them. But, to have
it is
Barry
a
Sanders,
weird look at the NFL on the draft and contracts and salary caps and everything else, that you can have the best player in the league and arguably one of the best players ever not play at the top level and not play for a top team. Like if you're Lionel Messi, you're not going to spend your whole life playing for Brentford, and I'm not knocking Brentford, right? That's not going to happen. You will end up going to the biggest team in the world, and you'll win all sorts of awards, right? That's just the way that will happen. Same in rugby, same in motorsports, same in everything, right? In the NFL, you can be the best player ever, and you might not ever win a Super Bowl or be in a team that could get to a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. So just to wrap up, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm quite interested what the answer would be. If you've got to put one running back on your team,
oh God,
and you've got Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, or Barry Sanders,
God,
who do you think you're going to pick?
What a lovely decision to have to make.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It would depend who we're playing against.
Okay, yeah, very nice tactical answer. For the season.
Bloody hell, that's hard. Barry Sanders.
I'm going to choose Barry Sanders. Only because as a head coach, what an absolute dream of a player to have in your dressing room. Just like the character and coupling the character and the performance on the pitch. Barry Sanders.
Which is why I would have Walter Payton in his second position.
Yeah, well, there you go.
For the same sort of reason.
Well, I didn't ask you that.
And don't get me wrong, Jim Brown and Emmitt Smith are luminaries of the game, right? But
they've just been cut.
One player for the season.
They've just been cut. Sorry.
Yeah. They traded. I've got to tell you quick before we finish.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you this quick cut story. You might have heard of it. Is when I think it was either Jim Brown or Paul Horn. I think it was Paul Hornung. Oh, it was Jim Brown, maybe. Sorry, let me start it again. So I'll cut that one. Reese, ready? I'm not sure if it was Jim Taylor or Paul Hornung. I think it was Jimmy Taylor when he was at the Packers. And Lombardi had a strict no agents rule. He wouldn't deal with agents. And they bring Jimmy Taylor and they just won a Super Bowl. He's a superstar running back. And he brought in an agent to renegotiate his contract because he thought he wasn't getting paid enough. And Lombardi comes out of the room and says, you ready, Jimmy? He says, I'm just going to bring my agent in with me. Coach Lombardi went, okay, hold on a second. Closes the door, goes back in, comes back out. They've got to walk in there. And Lombardi says to Jim Taylor's agent, if it's about Jimmy's contract, you'll need to speak to the New Orleans Saints. He's no longer a Green Bay Packer.
Oh, my God.
Just traded him.
That's amazing.
That's my rule. So
Amazing.
you just brought. Imagine that.
Love it. Love that.
Anyway, but yeah, Barry Sanders, an absolute. If you're new to the game and you wonder what all the fuss is about, go on YouTube and just search for Barry Sanders and watch absolute poetry in motion.
Yeah, beautiful to see. Love that. As always, like, subscribe, recommend, and get in touch. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, get in touch to tell us about what Barry Sanders means to you. If you think you know what we should cover with your franchise, get in touch. But yeah, spread the word. Like, subscribe, recommend, and remember, don't be a dick, be a butkus.
Be a butkus.